I'm starting with a simple outline of my blank, just tracing it with a black pen on white paper. Nothing fancy, just clear lines. This is going to help me make a jig in Silhouette Studio. Once I cut it out, I can then use it to place my designs in the same spot every time. Make sure you take the photo from straight above, no tilt, no shadows. That helps the software trace it cleanly. Next, we're going to move into Silhouette Studio, and I'll show you how to turn this into a cut-ready jig using Trace Outer Edge. And if you need to learn more tracing tricks, I've got a workbook that walks you through all of that. That's linked in the description. Now we need to get that photo into Silhouette Studio. So let's click on File, go down to Merge, double click on the image, and that's going to bring that right into Silhouette Studio. But mine is rather large. We can select that. I'm going to scale it down to 8 inches wide to begin with. Now mine came in on its side. I want to rotate it. So let's open up the transform panel. Click on the third tab, that's rotate, and click on 90 degrees. Now that's setting just right for me. You can see that I got some of the grid from my self-healing mat in the photo, and I like to kind of line up these squares with the squares on the actual design mat, and that gets it pretty close to scale. Not perfect, but almost. And we'll work on scaling it to the exact measurements in just a bit. Our next step is going to be tracing the outline of our blank. So let's open up the trace panel. We're just using the standard trace function, so this can be done in the standard edition. Let's click on select trace area and draw out our trace box just around the outline of our blank. This looks pretty good, but you can see there are a couple of spots that are not lit up. I'm going to bump the threshold up just a little bit until that fills in. You can see if you go too far, you get a lot of noise in the back. You do not want that. Now I'm going to choose Trace Outer Edge. We don't want to use trace because then it will give us an outside cut line and an inside cut line. We only want one cut line here. So click on Trace Outer Edge. We can pull the image away. We don't need that anymore. I do like to line up the outline the best I can with my grid because I know that these sides and this side should pretty much be squared up. And you can see again, my picture was not taken from exactly straight above, so it's a little bit wonky. You can also see, let me zoom in here, that there was some noise picked up in the background. So let's get rid of that before we do anything else. We can right click and release the compound path. Pull our main piece away, and if we just drag all along the top here, you're going to find all the little bits and pieces that we didn't need, and we can just delete those. Now let's line our shape back up to our grid the best we can. We're going to double click. You'll notice that the point editing panel pops up. The first thing we're going to do is click on simplify, and that's going to eliminate quite a few of the nodes. Select just one node to begin with. I know I need this corner node, so I'm going to start here and click on that. You can see that red line shows up, and that tells you which direction the software is working in. We're going to work with this node, and then it's going to hop to this node. And I am going to use the backspace button on my keyboard to get rid of those. And you can see it just hops along and shows the next node that it's going to go to. I can delete all of the points on this line here because in the end we want it to be a completely straight line. You can see that it is a little bit wonky. Let's zoom in on that. We want this node and this node to be corners. If we click on this node, you can see that smooth is highlighted. We need to click over and switch that up to a corner. And same for this one here. And now I'm able to adjust this to a 90-degree angle. I'm really just eyeballing it at this point. And we're going to pull this one out so that it's more even with the back end there. One thing to note is that these jigs do not have to be perfect. They just have to be pretty close. Now this node is selected. It is the corner, and we have managed to straighten up this back end. Let's jump over to the next node. So now it's going to go along this way. We're going to zoom out so we can see all of the nodes on that side. We can use the backspace again on the keyboard to get rid of the extra nodes there. And I went too far. We can fix that either by clicking on Control Z or using the undo button. Either one works. Now following this line along, it looks really good up until this point here, and then it gets a little bit wonky. We can fix that as well using the nodes and these little blue handles here. That looks better. Again, it does not have to be perfect, just close. So this side looks good, this side looks good. We are going to leave the rounded part alone. That looks all right to me. We can move on to this point here. We're just going to work on getting rid of the editing points on this straight line at the bottom. And once that interference is gone, I can see that maybe this one needs to come down just a little bit as well. That looks almost perfect. Let's fill it in with color so we can see a little bit better now. It's easiest to do the point editing without it filled in with color, in my opinion, because then you can see the grid really well and get everything lined up. Now it's time to size the cutout so that it fits our blank. I know that my blank is 2 inches wide and it's just under 6 inches. So this got stretched a little bit. I'm not really concerned about this 0.019 here because a little bit of wiggle room is good, but I think it's going to be a little bit wide, and we can fix that by grabbing this white square on the side and just shrinking it in a little bit, or we can adjust this number up at the top as long as our aspect ratio button is unlocked. But all in all, I think this is really close and we are almost ready for our test run. I'm going to adjust my page setup here. Let's switch over to letter size media because I'm going to cut this out of a thin chipboard so that I can reuse it. When I ordered these blanks, it was a set of 100 and I don't have that many left, but it's close. So again, I will be using this time and again, and I want to make sure that every time I use this, it is accurate. One of the ways you can do that is taking your shape and setting the corner in a spot that you're going to remember. And this is going to make it easier to line your jig up on your adhesive mat the next time you go to use it. So let's zoom in here. I want the corner of this jig right at the 1 inch by 1 inch mark. And of course, we're going to line our paper up at the corner of the grid on our adhesive mat. But this just gives you one extra confirmation point that your jig is in the right place. Let's fit this back to the window. Head over to the send page. My material is set to chipboard. I'm going to load my mat. We can see how close we got to perfection. We are cooking now. We are not going to sit through the entire process of this cutting out. I did want to show you that when you are cutting chipboard, it goes painfully slow. The speed is set at 1, and I also wanted to post my settings up here for you. Again, speed is 1, force is 33. There's 2 passes, and I set my blade at a depth of 6. The standard in the settings is 4. I bump it up 2, but you want to make sure that you do your test cuts when you're using a new material. Chipboard varies greatly in thickness and density, but you do want a thick, durable material if you are using a reusable jig. Here is the final cut. You can see that the top corner is right at the 1 inch square mark, and we are going to test this out and see how well we did. This blank fits almost perfectly in the hole. I actually shrunk it just a little bit too much, but this will still work. You just need to make sure that your blank is stuck securely to the adhesive mat. And if you are using a mat that is not that sticky anymore, you'll want to tape your acrylic blank in place so it doesn't move around on you. These jigs are perfect for foiling or engraving on acrylic blanks. Remember, anything under 3 millimeters can be worked on using the Cameo. The file that we created can also be used as a template if you're using vinyl and you want to get it just the right size. So this is overall a very useful project. Take the time, create your templates, and save them. Now, if you do want more information on how to get the perfect trace, you're going to want to look at Design Deconstructed. It is linked in the description and it goes over many other things that are so useful in the software, like the modify panel, some different text effects. Check it out, create something amazing, and I will see you in the next video.